Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast. I'm your host, Dave Ribeiro from SteelersSanctuary.com, and this is my co-host, David Coro. Dave, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Not too much. Where do we begin today? Let's start with the inside linebacker position for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They brought in two more guys this past week. Didn't sign either one of them. They're clearly not happy with the room right now. They brought Quan Alexander in a couple weeks ago. Didn't sign him either. They're going to sign somebody at some point in this offseason, you think? They have to, right?
I don't know, man, but this is kind of making me worry about Holcomb's injury.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If this was okay, I'd be like, okay, they're probably not going to bring in anybody. They're probably thinking that he's going to be good to go. But now that they keep bringing in guys, they're clearly not happy, or there's something wrong. Like his ankle or whatever is not progressing as much as they had hoped. So kind of concerning. It really is.
Yeah. Ron Liplock, when he was on our podcast, he reported that he had talked to somebody that said he was not close. And that was like a month ago. And but there's been varying reports saying he's running around, but he's not doing any of the drills with the team. So I don't know. Then you had Austin, the defensive coordinator, come out this week and say that Mark Robinson probably won't be ready to be a starter until 2024.
Right. You're like,
so if
what?
he can't start, then you're down to two guys, the two starters. And, wherever Nate Herbig ends up, either inside or outside, we don't know yet.
I don't know, man. It's the whole thing's just been strange. I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. They're clearly not happy with something. So, but they don't sign anybody because, so like you said, Quan Alexander bring in. I mean, like some of those guys, they're going to want a decent amount of money thrown their way. So if they're thinking they're going to bring in some guy like that and not pay him, what he's valued at, then, I don't know what to tell him. But something's up. I don't know if it's just injury or they just don't think, because they still don't have that true cover inside linebacker. In my opinion.
Well,
they don't.
I think they think Holcomb's that guy.
Well, he has the ability, but
is he going to get on the field?
Right. So really that even makes it more dire. The only guy you have that shows the ability to cover right now has got a bad will. So you might, they probably are looking to get another cover off ball linebacker to just in case.
Yeah, I mean, the fourth guy on the depth chart right now is Tanner Muse, and he's not even a linebacker. He's like a safety, and he's a special teams guy. So
right.
He's not a linebacker, so you can't depend on him. I know we talked with Farbar about maybe Keanu O'Neal doing some stuff at linebacker and this and that, but you can't go into the season with Keanu O'Neal as your fourth linebacker, or Tanner Muse.
That could be the plan, though. That could be the plan, though. If they don't find a guy that they they'll sign for whatever they're trying to sign one for. They may go that route. The Steelers have done this. This is some of the things they do, man. Some things they will penny pinch, if you will, on, and that's just how they are in some positions. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I give them credit. They got rid of, they cleared out. Let's just say it. They cleared out the trash in the room. Got rid of them, and they brought in some guys that can, at least tackle. It's football, tackle football. So they got some guys that can do that. It helps a little bit. Yeah. So, but they didn't get guys that can cover, and they got a guy that kind of can in Holcomb, but that's really it. And I think with Mark Robinson, that's the issue with him. Why they're saying he's not ready is because he is probably still very raw when it comes to coverages and covering people in general. Like he's probably not ready for that yet. I mean, you got to remember, this is technically only his third year playing inside linebacker ever.
Yeah. I mean,
so that's a huge difference compared to guys that did all of high school, all of college, maybe.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference here. So that's probably why they're saying that.
That's fine if he's the number 4 inside linebacker, but he's the number 3,
right?
And then nobody else. So if he doesn't get it, still, you need a veteran. You need a veteran in there. You can't.
And that's why they're bringing
gets hurt again. You're gonna have, Mark Robinson starting when you don't want to be starting. I don't know. This has the potential to be a real mess, but we'll
It's
see.
it's cooking for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's
it's not
early.
good.
A lot of veterans get cut during camp, so maybe a
Right.
couple of, it's
And
not
they're
time to
waiting.
panic just yet.
And
But
they're being smart. They'll wait.
yeah,
That way they can snag somebody probably at a cheap price.
they're trying to get another Marcus Golden.
It's what
Marcus
they
Golden
do.
signed for the minimum basically,
Right.
or a little over, and that's what they're looking for probably as an inside. And Quan
Right.
Alexander probably didn't want to play for the minimum, so he
Nope.
walked.
But
And I don't know
it's
those.
we'll wait. We got time here. We'll
Yeah,
see what they do.
it's not even training camp yet, so we'll
Right.
see.
That's the way I look at it too. They ain't train camp yet, so you got time.
Dave, this
Not
bit
a lot
of
of
news.
time, but
Yeah, I know, right? And it's yeah, we'll just have to wait. It's they could pull somebody out like Joe Hayden came in late, right? He was in during training camp when the Browns cut him and the Steelers signed him, right? So anything can happen. This bit of news is going to surprise you, I know, but the Chicago Bears are unhappy with Mr. Chase Claypool right now in his progress, right?
Not Chase Claypool. No.
The only question I have is what happened to the rookie Chase Claypool? The kid that just looked like he was having fun playing football, was productive.
You want honestly, I think the man does not know how to handle. I don't know if I want to say handle success or handle being popular, like celebrity status, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Yep.
I don't think the man knows how to handle that. And I think it went straight to his head. And I'm not trying to beat up on Juju here, okay? But that was the same year that Juju was doing his fucking shit on the 50-yard line at people's stadiums and doing TikTok and all that stuff. And Claypool made the comment in his rookie season, yeah, Juju's going to show me how to work on my brand and all this stuff. And that stuff, I think, went right to his head. And next thing and look, this happens to some guys. Some guys, they get hit with that celebrity stuff. And next thing you know, it gets, I'm too good to worry about the playbook or to do this, or like, what's another thing that they tend to do? They tend to slack off. Practice needs to be fun, man. I'm going to give you, I'm so important now. I'm going to give you my opinion at the wrong time when the team's in the middle of a losing streak or something. And I'm going to talk about how we need to have more fun at practice. Dude, shut the hell up. Like, no one wants to hear that. He constantly would say things he should not say. And that's what happens to people, that it gets too big for them and they don't know how to handle it. And he got too big in his head. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, what I was going to say is he wanted to be Juju before he did the things that Juju did.
Correct.
Juju earned his right to be a little bit of a prima donna because he had success in the league for a couple of seasons, and that's when he started.
Juju had success.
Claypool skipped all that.
Juju had success.
Yep.
Juju laid out what's his name for the Bengals.
Yep.
Man, I can't believe I forget his freaking name, but it laid him out almost like a revenge hit for what happened to Brown. Like my dude Juju put in his dues before he went crazy with this TikTok stuff and opinions and all that. Chase Claypool didn't earn a damn thing. He just had a great rookie year and he ran with it like he could just talk and say whatever.
As much as I love Juju Smith-Schuster and I stick up for him all the time, he's a football player first, and all the other stuff is
agreed
after. But he might have been the wrong guy for Chase Claypool to pair up with as a rookie.
Right.
Chase Claypool looked up to him, wanted to be like him, and unfortunately, he didn't realize the stuff that Juju did before he got to the NFL.
Right.
Before Chase Claypool got to the league, and all the stuff that Juju did beforehand. So, yeah, it's too bad because the kid's talented. He's got all the natural abilities in the world to be a top end receiver.
And look, and here's another thing too. Like, maybe he's just a bad seed. That's just the way it is. I mean, look, there was that video of him at that party. There was that fight and he ran over and kicked the kid while the kid was down. Did you see that shit?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, wow, bro. Like, what kind of person runs over while kid's laying on the ground, kicks him when the kid can't even fight for himself? What kind of character is that?
It's not looking good. This is his second team. He's been traded because he's been disappointed and he hasn't usually that'll either spark you,
Exactly.
show the team that traded you that you're not that person. I'm going to show them, or you go the other way, and he's
Dude,
going the other way, spiraling.
I can't believe that this didn't jumpstart him to like, hey, I got to get my shit together, and I got to ball out. I mean, it's just incredible that it's just not registering. And you remember, this kid fell to the second round.
Mm-hmm.
There may be reasons why. I mean, it's just like when Antonio Brown fell to the sixth, Martavis Bryant fell to the fourth. All these guys fell. The Steelers snagged them, right, left and right, snagged them. But look where they're all at. Look what they've been going. Like, look what's been happening, because they were bad seeds back in college, and here we are. I mean,
think about that rookie season he had. This guy could be out of the league as early as next year or even this year. The Bears seem like they're on the verge of cutting him.
And this is why there's only a percentage of players that go on to play over 3 years of football, because
it's injuries,
it's injuries, it's this shit. This is why, because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you're a head case up here, or you can't handle being famous, or can't handle like what is expected of you at this level, then you're not going to make it. And you sure she ain't going to play for the Steelers. I mean, Brown and Bell were the exceptions.
Well, you know why? Because they produced at an elite level.
Exactly.
You'll look the other way if you can. They like
maintained that. They maintained the standard on the field, and so the Steelers let him go. And Harrison, I can't go without bringing up James Harrison. Him too.
Yeah, they had a couple of guys that
had guys that were trouble or whatever, but they kept them around because, hey, you're producing on the field.
Yeah.
But there were others that were such head cases and got in so much trouble, like Martavis Bryant. I know you hate me bring up your boy,
don't
Martavis Bryant,
man.
And those guys, they were off the field. They couldn't get on the damn field.
Yeah. I mean, Martavis Bryant's the poster child for talent wasted.
He is absolutely wasted.
The poster child for that.
Disgusting how much.
And it's funny because
is wasted.
They compared Chase Claypool to Martavis' rookie year,
yes,
and everything else, and they're more similar than we ever thought, because they're both going to be failures and out of the league without, it's a shame.
It's so stupid.
Claypool's not a drug guy as far as I know, but he's definitely a head case. He's definitely a head case. That's something going on there.
That rookie year went right to his head.
Yep.
He thought, I'm a superstar and I can say and do whatever I want. I mean, dude, again, Juju on that game against the Vikings, if that had been him that caught that first down marker with 43 seconds left in the game, Juju would not have wanted to celebrate. Juju would have got up, ran, get the ball, and get back. Juju would have known there's no time to do these celebrations. But that kid didn't. He didn't realize the situation. And that right there for me was enough with Chase Claypool, that I knew this kid's not is going to be a problem.
Think about what the Bears to like send out. I know they haven't said it themselves, but they're telling people, and people are talking, journalists are talking, and they have everything to lose. They have, they look foolish if Chase Claypool doesn't succeed. They gave up essentially a first round pick for him. So, right
now he hasn't been practicing at the OTAs and shit. And they're saying it's because he has a somewhat of an injury. And it's like, And so then the guy's like, those soft tissue injuries, you got to be real careful. And it's like, It's like, you're probably the kid is saying, my boo-boo hurts, so I can't practice. And when it's all bullshit and he just doesn't want to go to OTAs. That's probably what's going on. That's probably why they're filtering it out through the media.
Yeah.
This kid's pissing us the hell off. It
just kills me.
What they gave up for him was just absolutely dumbfounding. Like, I still can't believe they took that chance. But anyways, go ahead. What were you going to say?
It just kills me because he's got kids with so much talent. They're just pissing money away. It's just, it just blows my mind. You have this short window to make money, and he's definitely got the talent to make big money, and he's just pissing it away. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me.
Antonio Brown became crazier than a bed bug, but dominated on the practice field when it came to putting in hard work. Antonio Brown put in more.
He was one of the hardest working guys on the team.
Anybody.
Yep,
anybody.
Absolutely.
And that was the thing with him. He knew, I am going to have to be the hardest working guy in the room because I know that in the end that'll pay off. And it did. He made $80+ million, over 100 probably total, I mean, the guy's batshit crazy, but the guy was a hard worker, extremely hard worker. You could never question that. So, that's why the Steelers tolerated.
Yeah. I mean, if you have talent and you produce, you can almost do whatever you want, and teams are going to put up with it. I mean, how many people traded for Antonio Brown after there wasn't a player in the NFL that screwed up off the field worse than Antonio Brown?
Right.
And he went from team to team to team because he's super talented.
Even the Patriots try to give him a try.
Yeah. And it was Bill Belichick really didn't want to cut him. It was the owner that made him cut him. He wanted to keep him.
Right.
If you produce, it's a whole different thing, but you have to produce, and Chase Claypool is not. All right. One last thing before we get to our main topic here. Mark Caboli had a pretty interesting article this week in The Athletic. I read it, and it's a lot of the things that we've said on this podcast, where he interviewed Matt Canada a little bit, or maybe just at a press conference, and he's trying to insinuate that it's not Matt Canada's offense. This is coming straight from Art Rooney and Mike Tomlin to Matt Canada. They're like, there's a quote here: "Act like it's the '70s again, with a physical offensive line leading a power run game and a pair of physical running backs, maybe two on the field at the same time." That's a quote from Caboli's article. This is what the Steelers want, and we've kind of gone back and forth, Dave. Is Matt Canada this bad? Is this offense being kind of rammed down his throat because Kenny Pickett's a rookie and they want to be careful? This puts it even more in doubt, right? I mean,
I don't want to defend Matt Canada, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, maybe this is him kind of going like, look, this isn't me. This is not my fault. They are making me do this.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just tired of it, and he found a politically correct way to say it without making anybody mad. He was just like, look, hey, AR2 and Tomlin, hey, they're the leaders of this organization. They're going to say, hey, how they want things done, and I'm going to follow their lead. Well, meanwhile, what he's really trying to say is like, look, fuckers, I have to do this. I don't want to, but I have to. And I'm tired of people questioning me when it's not really me.
He's got 1 year left on his deal, and maybe he's thinking, this isn't going to work. And I'm going to be the guy that looks like an idiot, and I'm not going to get another job.
Yep.
This is a direct quote. He said, "There is an identity that is coming from the organizational plan," right? Canada said, "It's not like I'm coming in here and saying what it is. There is a plan from owner Art Rooney to Coach Tomlin. We do have an identity. We're going to be a physical team. And if you do stop the run, then we're going to take advantage of play action, misdirections, and passes downfield. That's what Kenny has to make plays." That's a very politically correct way of saying it's not me, it's them.
Yep. Very political.
I tend to believe him.
And I buy it. It's the thing about it is that you still have to be a good enough coordinator to call the right plays.
Yeah, but if you're calling run plays,
right,
95% of the time.
But my problem is you can call a different running play. Don't call the same fucking play 2 plays in a row, because that's what the guy does a lot of. He's so predictable because he goes run it up the gut.
Well, maybe Tomlin said, "Here's the 15.
Second down, running up the gut." And you're like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't keep doing this every series." Where
I'm sure there's a lot of blame to go around, but
don't get me wrong. He needs to be better in game. But I am very sure that, he's being told you are going to do it this way. This is how we want it done. But I will say this: if they do introduce more 2 running backs, they do introduce more maybe tight ends, screens, stuff like that. If they do, they could put more stuff into it to make things a little more different. It could work. And I think, to be honest with you, I think it is going to work. I think they are going to do some things that's going to work, because they are going to zang to the zing with this league. And I told you that can make it harder for defenses, because teams now are building their defense to go against these prolific passing offenses.
We've talked about it a lot.
Yep. So they come against the Steelers. Oh shit. This is cannot compute. It's not how we set up to do things. So I don't know, but he's definitely looking for a reason as to why it will fail. So he has an out, but hey, They made me do this. This is now I run my offense. Please, some other team give me a try. I want a job. That's basically what that was.
I mean, you think it's going to work. I'm
saying it can.
all right.
I'm not saying it's going to. I'm not, when it comes to Matt Canada, I'm never ready to say it's going to work. I'm saying it could work because that's what they're thinking. They're thinking that, hey, if we do something different from the rest of the league, it may work.
I'm very skeptical that this is going to work.
The
more time goes by, Dave, I'm getting nervous. I think now I'm at the point where I think even the offensive coordinator is not 100% buying in on this. And now he's mouthing off and thinking to himself, this isn't going to work. We can't play like this in 2023. It's starting to make me really nervous. It's starting I've made the joke 1,000 times. This is Mike Tomlin's, arousal. This is the way he wants to play defense and wants to win games. He wakes up, pitching a tent in the morning, thinking about big running backs and defense.
Okay.
It's not going to work. They don't have we've talked about that. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but they don't have the mobile quarterback. Like Kenny Pickett's mobile, but he's not, Lamar Jackson mobile. They don't have the home run hitting wide receiver or the home run hitting back to keep defenses honest. They're going to see a bunch of loaded boxes, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett not to screw up. And all the while having this very dumbed down passing game. That's a lot of pressure on Kenny Pickett.
I was going to say, did you take that as maybe a little shot at Kenny too? The whole Kenny's got was that like a little shot at him a little bit?
I think that's another shot at Tomlin saying, look, you're putting too much pressure on this kid with this,
Oh, so you think it's the opposite? You think it's?
Yeah, I think it's the opposite.
He's defending Kenny and going after Tomlin.
I think he's saying this is, because he's right. He's going to see a lot of 3rd and 10s, 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 9s when teams start loading the boxes. And then, boy, we'll see. I could be completely wrong, but.
Well, I'll tell you what. They really might have hit it with this Darnell Washington. He's been doing really good.
I've heard a lot of good things coming out of him.
Yeah.
It's a good pick. Maybe he's the key to this offense a little bit. If he can become a good receiver with Freiermuth, maybe that's something they can lean on in the passing game. I don't know.
Those two, and then you throw in Calvin Austin the third.
Yeah, we talked about Calvin Austin's the key to everything to me.
Well, I'm just saying, you throw him in there too. Like I said, this could go well. They could, like I said, they could. I'm not saying they will. They could, along with the run game. But we'll see.
With this newfangled offense, well, not new, it's old-fangled offense, and they're going to be 2 tight ends and pounding the ball. It makes it even harder for Calvin Austin, too, because as soon as you put him on the field, everyone's going to go, oh, Calvin Austin's on the field. It's going to him. It's going to him. Everybody cover him. It's not like they're in 3 wide receiver all the time and kind of disguising things. It's going to be.
Well, yes and no. I mean, they can do a lot of plays where he runs a fly route or something so they can hit somebody underneath.
As a decoy, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really, they could do that too. So there's a bunch of different options they could do. But I'm sorry now, if I see him out there with Darnell Washington and with Muth out there, some things are going to get pretty interesting, whatever the play calls.
That's going to be there has been some talk that he can even play outside instead of the slot too. They can line him out outside. We'll see. They need him they need a big season out of him. We've talked about it a million times.
He's definitely the X factor of that offense to see if he can make it take a step forward. I agree completely. All
right. It's a slow news time. There's nothing really going on for the Steelers. So we've been doing this fun thing. We did top 10 wide receivers of all time last week. And this week we're going to do the top 10 outside linebackers of all time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I did a little bit of research for this. It took me a while. I had a lot of fun because I forgot some of these guys. And the Steelers, boy, they have a lot of people to pick from.
Yeah, and look, I'm getting ready to have to go to war on Twitter to defend you here with your top 10, just so you know.
Oh, boy, these people, man. Just get a life. Anyway.
Jeez.
It's like, if you don't agree with it, that's fine, but you don't have to go.
Yeah, but you gotta, you know how Steeler fans are, man. We're passionate as fuck.
I know.
Like, if you don't pick their guy, they're gonna let you know. But I'm just like, hey, like, there's so many things, they're going to take into account. But
just to bring it up, last week, one of our listeners had a real problem. I took Lynn Swann as the number one wide receiver over Antonio Brown. And this guy was very, very disappointed with me. Very disappointed with me. And
but
listen,
I was the one fighting for you, like son of a bitch.
We said on the podcast it was close, and I basically use Super Bowls as a determining, a tiebreaker. You want to tell me Antonio Brown's the best receiver in Steelers history? I'm not going to, fight you on that. He was unbelievable for those 7 or 8 seasons he was with the team. I'm a little older. I saw a little bit of Lynn Swann. There was no more talented wide receiver as far as acrobatic catches, playing in that era when they weren't throwing the football to do what he did. For me, it's Lynn Swann. But like I said,
well, look, I got his name here. It's Josiah Williams or Josiah. Sorry if I butchered that, but take it easy on us, okay? Everybody's got their own.
Take it easy on us on this one.
Take it easy, all right? Sheesh.
All right. Coming in at number 10, I went with Bud Dupree. 46. I know I'm getting too predictable.
You have these guys. You have this fixation on guys.
Bud and Martavis in particular, yes.
Yes. Bud didn't even do anything until his last year with the Steelers.
46 and a half career sacks, dude. 46 and a half career sacks.
He got most of them in his last year or the year prior to that.
That one last season was
I knew you were going to pick Bud Dupree. I go, he's going to pick Bud. He's going to find a way to fit Bud in the top 10. I had him higher,
and I had to lower him.
Oh, you are. This is why I have to go to war with people. This is over you.
Listen.
Anyways, go ahead.
Bud is among the most talented linebackers, outside linebackers to play for Pittsburgh. And he maybe didn't produce because he was injured. And we'll go through it. I convinced you on Martavis after that he was at least good enough for 10th. No Pro Bowls. Once we get to start getting down this list, the amount of Pro Bowl, All Pro, this and that, it's just going to blow your mind. But Bud doesn't have any of that. But trying to find somebody that was, I honestly did try to find somebody that could be better than him at 10th, and I really didn't find a name that really moved me. So, Bud Dupree, number 10. Number 9, I don't know if you remember this guy, Mike Merriweather. He played for the Steelers from 1982, 1987, 3 Pro Bowls, 41 career sacks, 15 in 1984, which led the NFL, and 18 career interceptions. He was a very good linebacker for a very bad football team. The Steelers between 82 and 87 were not good. They were coming off the 4 Super Bowls. They were still trying to hang on with some of those guys that were past their prime. But Merriweather was one of those guys that stood out. I don't know if you've seen highlights of him at all, Dave. I know that was a little before your time, but
I mean, I'm sure I did, but we're talking a long time ago, or when I was real little. And you got to remember back in the 80s. I mean, the Steelers weren't
they were
powerhouse that they were in the 70s. So, I mean, it was a long time ago. So there were some things, but I don't really have any recollection. I was too young.
He was a talented football player. Number 8, Lamar Woodley. I loved Lamar Woodley when he was playing. He was one of my favorite Steelers. I really liked him a lot. He kind of fell off a cliff at one point, but 57 career sacks, 1 Super Bowl, 1 Pro Bowl, played for the Steelers from 2007 to 2013. Man, what could have been if he could have kept his basically, I think he fell out of shape basically.
Yeah.
And stopped training as hard. And he had some injury issues too, but man, what a player for a while there.
Yeah, no, he was, now that one I remember, he was a beast. When you had him lined up opposite of someone who I'm sure you're probably going to put in your top 10, I hope.
Oh yeah.
But they were at some points unstoppable. Just absolutely punish quarterbacks and just constant pressure. And he was he had a big hand in some of those Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't have a problem with him at all.
All right. Number 7. This might be a little, well, maybe not. Jason Gilden. He's 6th all team.
He was, he had he had the sack record, didn't he?
He had the second record for a while. He has 77 total. He's 6th all time now. He's been passed, but he had the record at one point. 1 All-Pro, 3 Pro Bowls. He played for the Steelers from 1994 to 2003. Never really one of my favorite players. He was more of a consistent guy than a dominant guy.
Yeah.
But 77 career sacks is nothing to sneeze at. That's pretty damn good.
He got the job done. There's no doubt.
Yeah. He wasn't one of the main players for the Bill Cowher Steelers, but he was still pretty good. Again, not one of my favorites, but not bad. Number 6, if I have a top 5 favorite Steelers, this guy's definitely in it. Greg Lloyd.
Oh,
he was as much fun to watch play football as any Steeler. Man, he was just mean, nasty, brutal. 54 career sacks, 11th all time on the Steelers list. 3-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, 1987 to 1997. Just an intimidating physical freak, so good.
Yep.
Almost like James Harrison before James Harrison was.
Greg Lloyd was like he was the intimidator after the 70s Steelers, right? But before James Harrison came in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Like in the 90s, Greg Lloyd was the intimidator, man. Like when you saw that, man, you were like, that's intimidation right there. Like I remember as a kid watching him, I was just like, man, this is one bad dude you don't want to mess with.
And the tandem of him and Kevin Green was probably the best pass rushing duo that the Steelers ever had.
Yep.
Honestly, as outside. This is from I should preface this again. This is from 1970 on. I talked about this with the wide receivers. Anything before that, it's just too hard to compare generations and stuff. It's just too hard. So I know some people will say, "Oh, what about this guy in 1955?"
Also, it's not it's the Super Bowl era. I mean, Super Bowl era on.
Yes.
Like
try to keep it. I know 1970 is a long time ago, but try to keep it somewhat recent.
Really can't go back when it was the Steagles.
Yeah,
and compare that to now. So yeah. All
right, Greg Lloyd was 6. Again, and I love outside linebackers, and this guy was one of my favorites. Joey Porter is number 5.
Yeah.
7th all-time on the team with 60 sacks. He's got a Super Bowl, 5-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2000s All-Decade team. He played for the Steelers from 99 to 2006. Joey Porter, man, that dude was fun. I mean, as a coach, as a player.
He was a leader in that locker room, too. He was definitely a dominant leader in that locker room. They fed off him. There's no doubt.
That Super Bowl against Seattle, he was the leader on that defense. Everyone kind of revolved around him. And he was, they shot me in Denver.
Yes,
a lot of great quotes, man.
I was just about to say it. They shot me in Denver.
Love that guy.
Yeah, Joey Porter was a very talented outside linebacker. I really enjoyed watching him. When they let him go, I really thought that they were screwed because that was Tomlin's first year as head coach. And they let him go. And it was like perfect timing. It was like they swapped him out for James Harrison. That was when the emergence of James Harrison happened. And that the Steelers got lucky that happened because they ended up getting Woodley because they drafted him and Lawrence Timmons in the same draft. And then they had James Harrison opposite him. They just got lucky. I was so upset. James Harrison, I was so upset when they let Joey Porter go.
Yeah, I mean,
me too. I was pissed.
Me too.
Because then he went and signed with the Dolphins, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And I just remember I was really upset when they let him go. But they got lucky. They got real lucky.
My fondest memory of Joey Porter was going into that Seahawks Super Bowl. I should have looked this up before we got on. The Seahawks had a tight end that was really, really good. And Joey Porter kept saying, "I'm going to kill him. He's not that good. I'm going to knock him out. And he basically psyched that dude right out of the game. I think he had one catch the entire game.
Right.
And probably changed the Super Bowl because he was one of their better offensive weapons. You can't put a price on that. Joey Porter was unbelievable. Number 4, this is going to be maybe a little controversial.
Oh, boy.
I went with Kevin Green. He only played for the Steelers for 3 seasons, so it's kind of tough. I know a lot of people would take issue with that.
Yeah. But what he did in those 3 seasons.
Yeah. He's one of the greatest linebackers of all time.
Right.
And he played for the Steelers. They went to a Super Bowl. They didn't win, unfortunately. But Kevin Green was phenomenal. He had 35.5 sacks for the Steelers in 3 seasons. He has 160 career sacks, which is 3rd all time. 4-time All-Pro, 5-time Pro Bowler, a Defensive Player of the Year in 96. Led the NFL in sacks in 94. Well, a member of the Steelers. He's a Hall of Famer. 1990s all-decade team.
And he did retire Steeler, didn't he? Like, didn't he go back and say, I retire as a Steeler?
Maybe. Did he? Maybe. I don't remember.
I thought it, or because he was what? Was he? Oh, man. What team was he with before the Steelers?
Rams.
Rams. That was it.
Yep. And then he went to Carolina and
wow. So just like Bettis left.
Yeah.
Was Rams became okay. Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with you picking him. What he did was what helped that team get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like him and Greg Lloyd. I mean, dude.
Yeah, they were just dominant.
They were dominant.
That whole linebacking crew. Do you remember that with Chad Brown and Levon Kirkland? That was one of the best.
Yeah.
Levon Kirkland's on my top 10 too. Favorite Steelers.
Right.
He was awesome.
Because that's the thing, man. You have your 70s linebackers, and then what? Just like you said, maybe then it jumps to all these 90s linebackers again, right? I mean, that core of linebackers was legit.
Awesome.
I remember I was young. I was only in like 5th grade, 6th grade. I was only like 11, 12 years old. Like watching them, I was in awe of them. The way they played.
That was a good that was a really good defense in those 90s teams that Bill Cowher had. And if you're old enough to remember that Super Bowl against Dallas, they had the Cowboys who were a juggernaut at that point.
They were
the best team of that decade. They had that team on the ropes, the onside kick that led to a touchdown. It was just Neil O'Donnell, and those 2 interceptions absolutely crushed him.
Yeah, the 2 interceptions he made a lot of money off of.
Yeah, that guy Brown.
There wasn't a Steeler in the area. Like
no.
I'll never. I was a kid. Remember, I was a kid watching this, and I'm just like, "What the hell? Like, what was that?" Like, that
was a tough Super Bowl to swallow.
If that man, I hate to say that. I'm just joking, but man, it must have been nerves or something that ate Neil O'Donnell. Neil O'Donnell, I didn't think was the greatest player in the world.
He was pretty good. He had a little run with the Steelers there for a while.
That year he did really well, obviously. But like in that Super Bowl, I don't know if his nerves or what, but it ate him alive because he just didn't look right in that Super Bowl.
Some have said that the receivers ran the wrong routes on those, and he was anticipating them going one way,
and that could be it too. Look, nerves could hit.
Receivers
could hit them too. Yeah. So, but no, that Cowboys team you're talking about.
They were
Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, Jay Novacek. I mean, that Cowboys team was stacked.
They were loaded. Yep. And they were big favorites in that Super Bowl too.
Yeah.
People thought they were going to blow out the Steelers, and they didn't. Number 3, I went with TJ Watt. He has the potential to be number 1 at some point. I mean, he's only been 6 seasons with the Steelers.
Because you're counting, for the record, for everyone, you're counting Super Bowls, accolades, all that stuff. Right with it.
He's right up there. These top 3 are super close, and he could be number 1 by the time his career is over. 77.5 sacks. He's already 4th all time with the Steelers. 3 All-Pros, 5 Pro Bowls, Defensive Player of the Year, single season sack leader, 22.5. Shares that with Strahan. So he could easily be the number 1 guy on this list if he keeps 2 or 3 more good seasons like he's already had. You can't argue with TJ Watt. He's one of the best Steelers of all time.
Yep, already.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
He's just got to stay healthy and put a couple more seasons together, and he's number 1, easy. Number 2, Jack Ham. This was really old school 70s football, but listen to this guy's accolades. 4-time Super Bowl winner, 8-time All-Pro, 8-time Pro Bowler, 70s All-Decade team, on the 75th and 100th all-anniversary NFL team. And he had 32 career interceptions from 71 to 82. They didn't count sacks when he first started, so we cannot get an accurate sack count on what Jack Ham had. This guy's a legend, Hall of Famer, one of the best Steelers of all time. And definitely number 2 on my list.
Okay. You don't hear no argument from me on that one.
Yep. And number 1, dude, James Harrison for me.
Okay.
Those 3 or 4 seasons, I've never seen an outside linebacker play better than James Harrison played. Nobody. 84.5 career sacks for the Steelers, which is 1st all time for the Steelers. 2-time Super Bowl winner, Defensive Player of the Year in 2008, 4 All-Pros, 5 Pro Bowls, 34 forced fumbles in his career, 800 tackles. Played for the Steelers from 2004 to 12, and then 14 to 17. To me, he's number one.
Yeah, you ain't gonna hear any
Super Bowl
argument
that's playing the Super
me.
Bowl. I mean,
yeah, dude, you're not gonna hear an argument out of me about that at all. Like, like you said, that time frame and those Super Bowls, he was just incredible. But the thing about James Harrison that impressed me the most, and I hope people understand when I say this, was for his size how dominant he was. Because I don't get me wrong, he's a big dude, like muscle wise. But as far as height and weight and stuff like that, he was actually a smaller guy.
Mm-hmm.
So to see him do what he did was just incredible and so clutch in moments where they needed a big play. Nothing more bigger than the 100-yard interception return for a touchdown. I just constantly, and I mean, he would send guys to the locker room for the rest of the game. People were scared to go out there against him. Like, you better hope he don't drop in coverage, because you come around.
He'd take people out.
You are going to be hurt.
He was good in coverage. He was obviously great with sacks, great against the run.
And he would say it. He would say, I'm looking to hurt you. I ain't trying to injure you. I'm looking to hurt you. And you're just like, oh, dear God, like, this guy's nuts. Then the videos of him taking a 300-pound freaking bar and doing like tricep work. You're like, this guy's incredible. Like, how the hell does he do this?
It's nuts.
Like, dude, I'm telling you right now, I don't have any issue with what you picking him number one. He by every right, he should be there. I don't have a problem with it. Literally had a direct impact on all those Super Bowls in the 2000s. Or I'm sorry, not 05, but after that. You ain't gonna hear complain from me about that at all.
No, those defenses were scary. The Steelers and those, early 2000s.
Him and Woodley were just
Woodley and Troy and Ryan Clark as safeties.
Well, I mean, we could go on and on and on.
It was hell of a defense.
Yeah, but just in general, like, just talking specifically on outside linebackers or edge rushers, I mean, just him and Woodley together was just incredible. But it seems like with the Steelers, especially when you talk about Super Bowls, there's always those two grouped together. Did you notice that? There's always these dominant two, the Greg Lloyd and Green, the Woodley and Harrison. It just seems like there's always that duo that really is dominant. And
it helps when you have another guy to take some of the pressure off you if there's another guy that can do it. And that's maybe something you can point to for TJ Watt, that he really hasn't had that other guy. And you're not high on Bud Dupree, but now he has Alex Highsmith, who's, I saw Tomlin call him Robin again.
Yep. Yeah.
That's kind of, it's a little disrespectful, but.
So one guy you didn't bring up, because I was looking at players too.
Yeah, give me some names if I miss somebody.
So a guy that I don't think you brought up was Andy Russell.
Yeah, see, he did most of his work pre-70.
Yeah, well, yeah. So here,
kind of tough.
So, yep.
And I get Andy Russell all the time. When I wrote this post, like 2 years ago, people were coming out of the woodwork killing me on Andy Russell. I'm like, I get it.
Yep.
He's a great Steeler too.
I'll read his accolades real quick. He was with the Steelers from 1963 to 76. So he was a part of two of those rings.
Yeah, two of the Super Bowls, yep.
So 7-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion. His stats Steelers in 168 games, he had 18 interceptions. So for a linebacker, wow,
Yeah, and they didn't count sacks back then, so you have no idea how many sacks he had over his career.
And that's a shame. Like,
yeah, I don't think they started counting until the 80s, so it's kind of weird.
It kind of threw me off when I read 18 interception. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's not linebacker. Where's the stats at? Like for sacks, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm trying to see if there's any other ones that really. Yeah, you said Gilden, you said Joey.
Give me somebody you would knock Bud Dupree out of 10. I'm willing to have an open mind. Yeah.
All right. Let me think here. It will probably be him, Andy Russell. I mean, really, that's
if I was counting Andy Russell,
I was going to.
Which you could make an argument, and I'd be fine.
I was going to say he should be the guy that should be in the top 10 for sure.
If we're counting him, he's probably top 5 with the stuff he did. So
right, and that's really the only guy I'd really would consider. I mean, I'm trying to think here of other.
I mean, give Alex Highsmith a couple more seasons. He definitely knocks Bud out because he's obviously starting to compile the sacks now.
Well, Yeah, sack wise, yes, but the accolades, he's not really accumulating any
Yeah.
accolades. If we're going off that,
Well, Bud Dupree didn't have any Pro Bowls or All Pros.
I'm trying to think of like outside linebackers.
It's.
I mean, you've named most of the ones that I grew up watching and being like, holy crap, you know, these guys are legit. But no, I think that's pretty much it. I think as far as greatest Steelers of all time, outside linebackers, I would if I was going off purely not counting accolades, it has to be TJ Watt.
I was going to ask you
what I've seen him do as an outside linebacker. I'm not sure I have seen an edge rusher ever do. The interceptions where the ball is coming at you in 0.1 seconds and you had the reactionary time to catch it. I don't remember seeing any really edge rushers do that.
He's a dominant dude.
I have seen him get held by two grown-ass men, and still get through and get the sack. It's just things the man does. He bends. He bends. He has so many different moves. The fish and swim, or or bully rush, or like it just the moves he can do. He's just incredible, and the height that he can jump to. Like I remember his first game against Cleveland, and they put him in coverage, and he dropped back, and they tried to throw it over his head, and he jumped up and intercepted the ball. I was like, holy shit, this guy can jump. Like there's just so many things about TJ Watt. And maybe it's because it's during my time now in my life that, this is the guy that I, associate with, but to me, like, as far as I don't want Josiah jumping my ass here. So I'm just trying, as far as stats goes and that stuff minus the Super Bowls, it's TJ Watt. It has to be TJ Watt.
So I was going to ask you what it would take TJ Watt to overtake James Harrison in your mind. It sounds like he already has before.
Minus, if you take the accolades away, he's already passed him, in my opinion.
See, for me,
as far as the best linebacker.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I just don't think it's. You got to think about this. It took Harrison how long to get to where he was at, compared to TJ Watt did it out the gate. Like, holy shit, right? And that's my thing. I'm just saying that counting.
You're not wrong, Dave.
Not counting Super Bowl rings. This guy's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. And
there's no wrong answer here.
And that's why for me, not counting the accolades, that's my guy. Now, if we got to count accolades, then he has to get bumped down. He doesn't have a ring yet. So, but as far as your list goes, I honestly, dude, to me, Bud just doesn't cross my mind as a top 10. He was really good his last year here and started to blossom a little bit in that third year. But that was really it. I mean, it was really disappointing that first year going into second year. I think he had like a combined 8 sacks in his second season combined. It was bad.
Yeah,
there was
he got off to a slow start. He looked injuries.
He looked lost at times. Now, mind you, and he figured it out. Oh yeah, then it was like,
monster.
Oh shit, yeah,
he was a monster.
Now, but
that he laid out on that Miami Dolphins quarterback in the playoff.
Yes,
game.
Don't get me wrong, I loved it. But you have to remember too the TJ Watt factor.
Yeah, no doubt. Same thing with Alex Highsmith.
It's just the words out of my mouth. If we're going to apply it to Highsmith, we have to apply it
absolutely
to Bud Dupree, because in fact, that's I think when we know whether you suck or not. If you have TJ Watt opposite you and you ain't getting shit done, you suck. And that's how you know. Honestly,
I think Bud was a better fit with TJ than Alex Highsmith is. I think Bud was better against the run. I think teams feared Bud a little bit more than they fear Alex Highsmith. It's a gut feeling more than maybe I'm completely wrong here, but
I think Bud has a bigger size than Alex, doesn't he?
He's definitely bigger, definitely better against the run.
So I could see that.
Although Alex Highsmith's improving against the run.
But see, the difference is as Alex Highsmith has been producing since day one, not like TJ level, or it might be around the same in their rookie years. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Well,
first couple
no,
seasons,
Alex didn't get to
they must
play
be
his first year.
close.
Actually, Alex didn't get to play his first year. I'm sorry. He didn't really play a lot because Bud was still here.
Yeah.
They drafted him Bud's last year. So
Yep.
it'd be the next year after that. Now, he played a little bit when Bud tore his ACL.
Yep.
And he was okay. He was all right. He didn't do much, but I'm not going to expect much out of a rookie anyways. But that next year, man, it was like, bing. It was like, whoa, okay. This guy's got potential. And then all of a sudden, boom, my man's putting up, what was it, 12 and a half, then 14 and a half this season.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So I just feel like Highsmith has already produced more than Bud did.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
He was
as
way
far as sacks go. As
So-
far as sacks go, there's no doubt.
And I mean, what accolades does Bud Dupree have? Does he have any?
The only thing he had really going for him is the 46 and a half career sacks.
Okay,
Which is a pretty decent number.
So with that, no accolades. I don't.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm just
Again,
saying.
so you'd put Alex Highsmith 10th
Uh,
Bud?
see,
It's
so
close.
hard. It's so hard
It's
for me to
close.
say
I can
'Cause,
admit
like-
that's close.
because it sucks. Because here's the problem: if we're gonna put Kevin Green in this
Yeah.
with 3 years, but
Mhm.
he went to the Super Bowl and he was all that. But
The difference between Kevin Green and him is Kevin Green was established before he got here and did stuff after. He was a great player.
right,
there was
he
no
went on
question.
to be a great overall player. In
Yeah.
the NFL.
Alex
Hall
Highsmith
of
could fall
Fame.
off a cliff. Yeah.
Hall of Famer. So I mean,
Yeah.
so that's the way I look at it. We could sell this right here. Andy Russell. Was he inducted to the Hall of Fame?
Yes, Andy Russell's in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I believe so.
Yeah. Bye, Bud.
Yeah, if we're gonna go there, I wouldn't have you'd be stupid to argue that. Let me double check Andy Russell. I think he's in the Hall of Fame. Even if he wasn't, if we're counting him, he's clearly better than Bud Dupree was.
Well, the reason why I count Russell is because he was a part of those 70s Super Bowls, the first two.
He is not in the Hall of Fame.
No shit.
Not according to Wikipedia.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we're counting everything, I mean, he's got 2 rings. He was a part of that 70s.
Yeah.
He's credited with being a part of helping turn the Steelers around as far as an organization goes. So it's kind of tough to not pick Andy Russell.
That's legit. I mean, let's see for a second. Actually, if I had to do this over again, I'd probably put him in because he made the Pro Bowl from 70 to 75 straight. So
Right.
he's in the 70s.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, he's probably the guy, and then we just plop him somewhere in the middle and knock Bud off. That's legit. That's legit for sure.
That's the only one out of your group. That's it. I mean,
for me, I don't think TJ's at James Harrison's level yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's tough.
Look,
Because
bro,
James
when
Harrison
you got
was
two,
so fucking good.
he was
so good.
I understand, but when you have 2 offensive linemen, grown ass men, have to hug you at the same time, and you still get through.
You want to know the difference with him?
And they're not. And here's the other thing: he gets held so much, it's ridiculous. The refs ignore it because it's TJ. It's the TJ Watt rule. If they don't bear hug him, don't call it.
But
I
the
mean,
difference
literally-
is with James Harrison, you couldn't hold him because he'd ragdoll you.
Right?
He'd just take you and toss you.
He's another one. His bend was very incredible too. He would use his smaller frame and I mean just bend around and get under and go. But he was so strong that he could bull rush you too. I agree with you. Like I don't remember him getting pushed around either. I just don't remember the extremes that teams had to go to stop him.
He was unstoppable for a couple. No one knew what to do with him. I'm trying to look at when he won Defensive Player of the Year. 2008. That little stretch from 2007 to like 2009, he was just literally unstoppable. People, I heard an interview. Joe Thomas said he was just unblockable. And Joe Thomas is an all-time Hall of Fame left tackle.
Yeah,
and he said he would just ragdoll me, take me in,
and look,
plant me.
I'm not arguing that right now. Counting accolades, he's ahead for me. He's ahead of TJ. I'm saying not counting accolades. I'm going TJ. But counting all accolades, yeah, Harrison, I'd still have him ahead.
I don't know if TJ ever gets to that level with me. We'll see. And I
Really?
love TJ Watt. I love him. But James Harrison sets a standard in my mind that's way, way up there.
I mean, I don't know, man. Like TJ,
he did it all, dude. He could cover, he could play the run, he get the sacks, obviously, rush the passer. I mean,
well, yeah, so can TJ though.
yeah, TJ is not much of a cover guy.
What? I just told you about his first.
Well, he picks the ball off when they
game.
throw it at the line of scrimmage. He's not covering guys downfield.
Yeah, but he can when they let him though. He can do it.
I mean, I don't want TJ Watt covering.
No,
I don't
I
want
mean,
him covering.
I'm not. We're not basing.
I'm not gonna really knock him for that.
How was that edge rusher's coverage skills? That really decides.
Hey, there was a while there where the Steelers did that a lot. Remember that?
Yeah,
they were putting like James Harrison and other guys in coverage a lot. It was kind of stupid, but they did it a lot.
Well, they've done it recently, as of like the last 3 or 4 years. They've done that shit, make you want to
even TJ's first 2 years they were putting him in coverage a lot. It's like, what are we doing here? But thank God they've gotten away from that. This is a good talk, man. We could talk Steelers defense till Christmas. I mean, it's so many absolutely players, so much fun to talk about. We'll probably do 1 or 2 more of these in the dead time in the summer here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know what we could do next. Maybe running backs, or maybe we can lump secondary all in because corners might be a little too thin. We could do corners and safeties together, top 10.
We could do defensive backs. Just defensive backs
next. We'll do defensive backs next. That'll be fun.
Okay. All right.
All right, that's all I got. You got anything else, Dave, before we get out of here?
No, not really. I think we covered pretty much about everything.
All right, cool. You can find me on Twitter at SteelersSank16. Email the show at daver@SteelersSanctuary.com. Subscribe to the pod, guys. We really appreciate all we've been really doing very well lately, Dave. We've been hitting some new highs with downloads. We want to keep that going. Just hit that subscribe button for us, guys. That really helps us out. Dave, give me your stuff and let's get out of here.
Yeah, sure. You can find me at m_Corb on Twitter. I'm also doing a Pittsburgh Pirates podcast, if you haven't heard, called the Hodgepodge of Nothingness podcast. I was just recently on the Pirates fan forum with Gary Morgan and Jim Stam doing a thing about the Pirates there. So if you haven't got a chance yet, that just got posted on YouTube, I think today, if you want to check that out as well. And that's all I got, man.
All right. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary podcast.